So we are now close to November. 2024 is almost here, and we finally got more information on what this new Dodge Charger is going to look like with some photos from a factory of the frame of this particular car. And they did make some changes. Some changes were made to the car from the last time we saw this car at the various events. So let's get into the changes they made and kind of what direction is Dodge going in with another two-door car and their whole lineup for 2024. Let's drop the intro and get a word from my sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by CarLock, the world's best vehicle tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you'll be able to track your car real time, get alerts of anything suspicious happening to your car, such as your car is starting when it shouldn't be starting, any vibrations. Also, if someone decides to unplug your car lock from your car, you'll get a notification for that too. You deserve that peace of mind, and make sure you get your car locked. I do have a discount code for you guys shown on the screen right now. Get 10% off your purchase, as well as 14 days free trial with it as well with that same discount code, man. Get your car locked. You deserve that peace of mind. Let's go ahead and get it to the video. YouTube family, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this particular video. We do a lot of car related things. If you like cars and things related to cars, you're in the right place. Go ahead and lock it in. Subscribe to the channel if you've already done that. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing that, but we won't hold you too long. Let's go ahead and get into the topic of today's video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail, so we're pretty much almost, the end of the year is just about here. 2024 is right around the corner, and a lot of manufacturers already have their 2024 cars on the lot. I already seen the 2024 Mustang, the new S650. I seen one of the dark horses on the road here. And a lot of other manufacturers have their new cars on the road at dealerships and things of that nature, except for Dodge, of course, who is always late to the party as of late when it comes to used cars. So we finally have some spy shots of the frame of this new Dodge Charger. They first unveiled this thing, I don't even remember, was it 2 years ago at this point? I don't remember. I don't remember when they unveiled it. It was like last year or something like that, right? Like 2022? Yep, 2022 when they unveiled it. So yeah, 2022. So now we actually are starting to see a little bit more about this particular car. Typically around this time, what most manufacturers, if they're going to release a car next year, there's going to be spy photos, they're testing the car, things of that nature. But the only thing we have right now is the frame of the car. And that does tell us a little bit of what Dodge is planning to do, and also kind of causes a little bit more confusion what Dodge is planning to do. So we know they unveiled this car as a concept, and we know what concept changes can be made to the car. And there look like there were a few changes made to the car. Some changes was obvious, some not, and some things people thought changed actually didn't change. So let's dive into a couple of things that we can tell with the frame that did change with this particular car, some of the things that didn't change. Dive into the photo here of this chassis and see what we can point out and see what things have changed and what things, didn't change at all. One of the first things that I noticed that changed with the car is the fuel door / charging door. On the concept model that's been displayed at various events, there was no charging door, fuel door, or anything like that. And if I recall correctly, they did a interview about the car. They said they do not plan on putting an internal combustion engine in this particular car. There's definitely something there that could be a fuel door or charging door. Now, knowing Dodge, since they want to make this car act and behave like a internal combustion engine vehicle, they will probably put that charging port in the same place that they put the fuel door in, because it looks like it's on the driver's side exactly how the current Charger platform is. Looks to be about the same shape as well. But that's one small change that they made. Another small change that they made here is with the B pillar. With the concept model, there was not a B pillar there. That whole window for the driver and passenger side was kind of like not one piece, but kind of one seamless piece without that pillar there. Looks like they added that pillar there to make the structure more stable. Now the biggest thing, one of the biggest things people have been talking about is that this car has a transmission tunnel. I'm going to say that, and I got proof to show y'all this, that this transmission tunnel was already planned to be in the car from the get-go. I'm gonna put a picture of the interior of the Banshee when they unveiled it. If you could look at the center console, I'll put pictures here. You can tell they have a center console area in this particular car, and you can see from the top and from the sides that will be the area where the transmission tunnel would go. So this car already planned to have it. So in the concept, looks like it already had that as well. Now, typically with EV cars, that area, or at least under that area, would be flat and there'll be storage there. But looking at it from a couple of different angles here, it doesn't appear there's storage area under where the gear shifter would be and things of that nature. So it's safe to say this car has the transmission tunnel already in it on the concept version. So having this on this body that we now see, I don't think that's too much of a new discovery in my eye here. But it does show that they are definitely planning on putting one of the new engines in there. So you're going to have the the battery powered joint, and you're also going to have the internal combustion engine as well. But the floor of this car does look kind of interesting. Typically with an EV car, the floor of these cars are pretty much flat, right? Because you don't have the need for drive shafts, you don't have the need for a transmission, you don't have the need for any of that. You use the entire floor of the car as the battery, and each wheel has its own motor attached to it, the higher it goes or whatnot. But this particular car doesn't look like that. It definitely looks like it's more geared towards rated for an internal combustion engine here. The floor is not flat at all. There's a lot of areas where things could go up under the car, as far as like the drivetrain and things of that nature. If this car is going to have a battery in it, that battery cannot be that big. It doesn't appear to have any large flat areas in this particular car to store a battery, unless there's going to be a big battery somewhere else in this car. I don't see where the battery could go. Now, there could be a different chassis for the EV version of this particular car, but that doesn't make sense to make two different chassis for the same car. That is a lot of money wasted, a lot of money down the drain to make two different chassis of the exact same car. Typically, manufacturers will make one chassis that would serve the purpose for everything it needs to do, but make that chassis in a way where you can make those small changes and do different things with it. It doesn't make sense to make two completely different chassis. So that's kind of interesting, that this car doesn't look like it has a perfectly flat bottom. Now, the next thing on this car that I noticed, and this is pretty cool with me, my eyes might be playing tricks on me. I might be seeing things that are not there, but let me know if I'm tripping a little bit. But looking at this next photo here, that side of the car, right where the door would close and meet with the car here, looking at, you see those two holes? Those two holes is pretty much the latch where the door will, click close and whatnot. But looking at the whole area, to me, this is just to me, this car seems to be pretty wide. I looked at the same area on my car compared to this car, and it doesn't appear to be this wide. I know, granted, we can't really tell. I'm trying to take a closer look here. We can't really tell the dimensions of everything here, but to me, that seems pretty wide. There's some width to it there. I'm thinking that it's just me. I feel like this is going to be a wide body without the fender flares. I know one of the biggest complaints, for whatever reason, was that this car, the wide bodies in general, it's just fender flares. People didn't like that. People like, you put truck fender flares on the car and call it a wide body. This to me looks like they're incorporating the wide body into the fenders, so to eliminate that look. And if I recall correctly as well, the tires that were on the car were 305 tires, and there was no wide body flares or anything on it. I saw a couple of pictures where it looked like the fenders were flared out a little bit more than normal, but it does look like this car is going to be pretty wide. The thing about it that we're unsure of is, are there going to be multiple chassis for different versions of this car? Which is, right now, it's not the case. My car, Widebody Scatpack, has the exact same chassis as a V6. It just has extra stuff on it and whatnot, but it's the same chassis. It wouldn't make sense for Dodge to make multiple chassis of this particular car. But to me, This does look like it has a wide body. Now, I know they're planning on making different power levels of this particular car. So the lowest power level would have this look as well as the highest power level. My only thought is, are they going to have the same tires on it? Are they going to have the same wheels on it? That usually isn't the case from the lower trim to the higher trim. But this is Dodge you're talking about. They do things that doesn't make sense. Yeah, this thing does to me look kind of wide. And if you look at the bottom here, and it could be just the angle of the photo, it does seem like it kind of angles out as you get closer to the back of the door here. So I'm thinking this does, to me, at least to me, screams it's going to be a wide body. And yes, I'm going to say I know that this being a wide body doesn't take away from the fact that it's still going to be EV. It's still going to be a V6 or inline 6 or whatever they're going to call it. We still want the V8, man. We still want the V8. They can put a wide body on it if they want to. I don't know, but that's just me. So another thing I want to talk about and touch on here, I did mention that it is kind of late in the game for these cars to be coming out just now, and this is kind of the first time that we're seeing a chassis for this particular car at this point in the year. If this car is coming out in 2024, if they're planning on dropping this at the beginning of 2024, this car should already be built. The test should be just about done. They should be building cars to ship out to dealerships and things of that nature, but that's not the case. Right now, they're still building the current platform of Chargers and Challengers. So that this timeline of this car coming out early 2024 does not seem like it will work. These cars are more than likely test cars. These are cars that they're gonna kind of get their final tests and things done, their road tests and all that type of stuff, that whatever kind of test they got to do, these are probably gonna be those cars. These cars don't appear to be mass produced just yet. They're just gonna be test cars. So if they're just now testing these cars now, and even their counterparts as far as like the Ram, like pickup trucks, those trucks are already being tested, like the TRX with the new inline 6 and stuff like that. Those cars are already put together and they're testing those. Granted, they might be using a current, well, actually I take that back, because with the TRX they actually got some kind of covering on it, so they are changing stuff with that car. Yeah, but it's our truck, but it's already being tested. But they're really late testing stuff to this car, if this car is supposed to come out next year. So are they planning on releasing at the beginning of the year? Probably not. More than likely, it's going to be probably going to be mid to late next year in 2024 before we start seeing these cars actually out there. So with that being said, with this car not dropping until mid to late next year, what cars are Dodge going to sell? I mean, this is what they got. As far as we know, we got the Hornet, we got the Durango. No Charger that we're aware of, but this like it's going to get delayed. Challenger, still kind of unknown, even though there's been rumors that they're testing that car already, but there's not been any pictures come out about it just yet. I did a video on it, but no pictures has came out about this car just yet. So is Dodge only planning on selling 2 cars for most of the year? I mean, if Dodge is trying to kill themselves off early, that's the way to go. Don't have any cars for anyone to buy. People don't want the Hornet like that. I know people buy crossovers, but most of the time when people think crossover, they're not thinking go to Dodge to buy a crossover. The Durango, granted it is an SUV, it's not a full-size SUV, so people that are wanting an SUV for the space, Durango wouldn't be your first choice. When we were in the market for an SUV, I suggested the Durango, but I didn't realize how small it was. I mean, compared to other SUVs. We have a Tahoe here, which is a full-size SUV. We got a full-size SUV. It has way more space than a Durango. Not everybody's going to buy a Durango. What is Dodge going to sell? They don't have any cars to sell. The car everyone wants not going to come out till late next year. So only going to be 2 cars on the website. I mean, at this rate, that's looks like the case. It looks like they only have 2 cars. And on top of that as well, if they are still planning on doing the Challenger, why are they making a 2-door Charger too? So are they going to do a 2-door Charger and a 4-door Charger? Because any car manufacturer out there, or every car manufacturer out there, has at least one 4-door sedan. Every single one. If you don't have a 4-door sedan in your lineup to sell, you're not going to do well. I know everybody's going to say they love to have a 2-door Charger. They want a 2-door Charger. the two-door Charger does cater to those hardcore Mopar fans, those die-hard Dodge fans that remember the two-door Chargers from the 60s and 70s. However, times have changed. Granted, they made the Charger now 4 doors, and that is more practical. The Charger with the 4 doors has outsold the Challenger easily. And the Challenger is the car that is the more retro car out of the two. The Challenger has 2 doors like the original. The retro looks like the original, but more people buy the Charger because of the practicality. If you don't have a 4-door car in your lineup, you're not going to survive. So is Dodge planning on making this Charger a 2-door and 4-door? Again, that doesn't make sense, because why would you make the same chassis or 2 different chassis for the exact same car? And when you have a car that could be a 2-door and have another car that could be a 4-door, a lot of these choices and decisions do not make sense right now. And it definitely doesn't make sense because we don't know what the full lineup is going to be. But right now, it looks like the lineup is going to be pretty slim. It's going to be pretty slim for a while. If you don't have cars to sell, you can't make money. If you can't make money, how do you stay afloat? At this rate, it seems like Dodge is just going to kill off themselves before they even get all their cars out, right? Like in my situation, like I went and got a Charger because I needed the extra space of the 4 doors. I had a Challenger before this. Do I prefer the Challenger over the Charger? Yes, I like the 2-door. I like the 2-door look. I love the retro look of the Challenger. But because it's not as practical, I no longer have a Challenger. There are way more people that will buy a 4-door Charger versus a 2-door Charger. So in short, y'all, I don't know what Dodge doing over there, man. I have no clue what their plan is. They've been pretty quiet since the Demon 170 came out. There hasn't been a lot of announcements, a lot of talk from them. And for all we know, these cars that could have came out, they could be just more display models or something of that nature, right? But this is kind of uncertain what direction they're going in. Like who knows? They haven't even came out and fully said what they're selling for 2024. Every car manufacturer has their 2024 lineup set already, and there has been nothing from Dodge what's coming out for 2024. I know we're not looking to what Dodge has for 2024 because they don't have the V8s anymore, so really no one really cares about their lineup for 2024. But the fact they haven't announced what they are going to offer, it's kind of shocking. I mean, we know we got the Durango, we got the Hornet, and that's about all we know. We know the Charger at some point, a Challenger at some point, maybe some other cars at some point. We just don't know. They've been really quiet about it. But let me know your thoughts so far on with the chassis coming out. It does tell us a little bit what direction they're going, and it looks like they are going to a 2-door Charger with no more 4-door Charger. And who knows what they're gonna do with the Challenger. I mean, you can't have a 2-door Challenger and a 2-door Charger. That really makes 0 sense. But Dodge does things that doesn't make sense. So that's where we are. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have made it this far in the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please do that. I want you around for all the car related things that we have going on. We will catch you on the next video. We're out. Cut it.